If you're like me, every year we can expect 3 things: death, taxes, and our favorite serialized sports game. And as of lately, games are getting more geared releases, specifically sports titles. And despite a yearly release, we still buy it in hope that it gets closer to real life. This may be the closest some of us ever get to a real NFL contract that doesn't come with brain damage and bad knees. Every year we hope the game gets more immersive and innovative, adds more features, and despite all its problems, why they patch the game to get more game-breaking glitches out, the one thing they can't patch is that Madden 20 is a scam. While there are many ways Madden 20 can be better, it's boiled down to 2 main gameplay issues. First one is animation. In Madden 20, there are thousands of animations that can happen every time you snap the ball, but Madden lacks some key essential animations that result in realism being taken away. From the way the O-line forms a pocket, from the way players react in certain situations. The second issue is player logic, which is basically a player IQ and sense what a player does in certain situations to put themselves in the best situation possible. For example, when a player tackled on the 1-yard line stretches the ball out to secure a first down or a touchdown, or how a middle linebacker recognizes a slant route in zone coverage. That's why today we're going to be looking at this clip of Le'Veon Bell, who was tackled on 1 yard away from the touchdown, but he pulls the ball back instead of stretching out for a touchdown. This is a simulation game, so why wouldn't Madden have an animation like that when a player stretches the ball out to secure a touchdown? But as you guys can see, Madden doesn't even have an animation for this. This boils down to one issue: Madden doesn't have player logic. If you're one of them guys that says Madden is a simulation game, he doesn't do it in real life, so it's not in the game, well, I'd rather show you guys and tell you guys. This is Le'Veon Bell. As you guys can see, Le'Veon Bell is the type of player who breaks tackles and does anything possible to get more yards, even stretching the ball into the end zone to secure a touchdown. So why wouldn't EA include this in the game? If this is a simulation game, it should have accurate player animations and play style. Imagine playing 2K, and when you drive in the lane, you can't do Euro step or change your shot when going for a layup. Now we're going to take a look at this game from 2008. It's called Backbreaker. It's a game which features player logic, and look what happens. You can see him being tackled on the goal line, but he's stretching his body up to secure a touchdown. This is a great example of player logic, a player doing whatever is possible to put himself in a position to score the touchdown. This is what Madden 20 lacks. This is a last generation game made almost 10 years ago. Yet, I can still compare this to Madden 20, a game 10 years later. Just in case you guys didn't see it, here it is one more time. Look how he extends the ball at the being tricked to make sure he gets a touchdown. Honestly, this is something that should be in Madden 20. This shows you how mediocre Madden has gotten. Another thing Madden 20 messes up is passing trajectory, making it impossible to do a correct fade pass in the end zone. Now we're going to take a look at All-Pro 2K8 version of a fade pass. Watch out how the quarterback puts the ball so the defender can't intercept it. Look how the receiver catches the ball at the back of the end zone, performing a toe tap catch so he can stay in bounds. The best way to explain how this works is player logic. The QB knows where to throw the ball, and the receiver knows what his body is in relation to out of bounds. This is something real life players practice to make highlight reel catches like this. Now take a look at Madden 20 fade pass. You're going to notice that passes are being thrown too low or isn't over the correct shoulder. A fade should result in an overhand catch or receiver fading away. But since Madden 20 passes are too low, it allows the corner to catch it like a regular jump ball. If you don't think this pass is realistic or barely happened so EA didn't include it in the game, well, take a look at these clips. Now as you watch these clips, I want you to pay close attention to where the ball is thrown and how the receiver catches the ball. This is what a fade pass should look like, and when comparing this to Madden, you can see where Madden falls behind because they're relying on animations instead of motion capture. Fade pass is a pass that's done at all levels. Imagine playing 2K and not being able to do a fadeaway or step back jumper. The final animation I want to bring attention to is pocket formation. This was just one of the most fundamental things taught in football. Now let's look at Madden 20 version of a pocket. It's aligned with a spike in it, making it very hard for the quarterback to make good reads. Now take a look at Madden's 99 version of a pocket. It's like a complete pocket, making it very easy for the quarterback to read and tell where pressure is coming from. Another thing I'm going to highlight is zone coverage. Look at these 4 tacklers. You can clearly see where the pressure is coming from. Now watch as this corner drops back to cover either the ball or the receiver. Now take a look at his Madden 20 version of zone coverage. The outside back is going to run to his zone and stop. Not even try to cover the receiver until the ball is thrown. That's the logic Madden 99 has that Madden 20 is lacking. Before we get into Madden franchise, we're going to take a trip into the land before social media and the depth grip EA has on the NFL licensing. Speaking more frankly, the summer of 2004 when 2K5 was released. First, let's talk about the presentation of 2K5. It features menus, halftime, postgame, and weekly wrap-up shows made by ESPN, which was very similar to what you will see on SportsCenter, much like how 2K does with presentations of Doris Burke and Charles Barkley. 2K even had players getting interviewed on the sideline when players were injured on the field. And at the end of each week, there was a weekly wrap-up show showing all the injuries throughout the entire league. 2K5 even brought in players from motion capture, something Madden still doesn't do today. Maybe if they did, there wouldn't be mishaps like Greg Oden looking nothing like himself at launch. 2K also had customizable dance options. It featured in Madden 20, but not as customizable, with Madden only getting a few generic dances or player-specific dances. 2K even had a mode called Anniversary Mode, where you could relive classic moments and play with classic teams. They just need to have their names put in. Imagine how much fun Madden would be that you use classic teams or all-decade teams. They also let you look at replays at any time instead of waiting 30 seconds after the play. They also let you challenge plays with a plethora of options instead of letting Madden choose for you. Look at all the things you can do in 2K5 but you can't do in Madden. These are the little things that made 2K one of the greatest football games ever made, and that made Madden 20 subpar, mediocre at best. Franchise. And at this point, you might think I just hate EA, but let's talk about some of the newest additions. There's a new font in the menu. It's a new color. The coach got a new hat. But let me be real with y'all for a sec. Their EA did bring some new additions to franchise mode. The first one is scenario mode, but I wouldn't really call this new because this is something we had in Madden 13. Then there's face of the franchise, which is like long shot, but after being drafted, it just turns into a regular player lock franchise mode. And lately, as I'm thinking like the new improvements they is X Factor, which gives players the ability similar to 2K badge system. This changes the way we play the game. It makes superstars and role players actually feel different. The rest of the new things are added to Ultimate Team, which is basically gambling for kids. I feel that monetization should be left out of games, especially when you're neglecting other modes like franchise, just to get people to buy more loot boxes. If you're this far into the video and still don't understand why Madden is a scam, well basically, bad animations, being paid to win, and releasing a broken game at launch. And since there are no other NFL licensed games, Madden has settled for mediocrity, and we basically have been playing the same game for the past 5 years. And the newest features are always things we had before, and the biggest changes are always things added to pay to win mode. And every year we have been paying for DLC, because roster updates shouldn't warrant a whole new game. In reality, Madden should release a game every 2 to 3 years with improvements that really makes a difference instead of a buggy mess in need of a day one patch. If you like what you saw today or want more content or better content, please leave a like, subscribe, and turn them post notifications on.